ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Allan Hawco. How are you?
The man, the myth, the
You
legend.
are. You're huge. First of all, I always say that the site is like the UN for all the letters that we get from fans around the world. How awesome is that?
That's overwhelmingly awesome.
Like how many markets now? What are we talking?
96. So we're tonight we're broadcasting, right now, in South Africa, episode 304, I think. Which is
Isn't
kind of
that
cool.
shocking that you've got people going, I love Jake Doyle, and they're in South Africa? Come
That's
on.
nice. Or I'm delighted that it's on there in Australia and the UK. We do really well in the UK, and just being around the world is kind of very cool because when you first think about this kind of thing, you're not really thinking about, hey, Ireland, they'll be watching the show,
Right.
or
You just
in
have that
Zanzibar. Yeah, you're
Right.
just kind of going for it. Or Kenya. We're on a Kenya, I think, next week. So
Stop it.
that's cool.
Season 3, first of all, fantastic season.
Oh, thanks.
And I remember at the beginning of season 3, sitting down by the harbor. Remember?
My sister was down there. Alan Doyle was there.
Yes, it was Old Home Week. And this fella said, I don't really like cliffhangers. No, I don't really set out to do cliffhangers. And what was up with, episode 313? Could you have it was like textbook, like, you're killing us.
Is that what my voice sounds like to you?
No.
Do that again.
I would say much lower and cooler, but my point
What
is
are you
this.
talking about? No, I mean, no, my voice is obviously much deeper than that, than what you're doing there now. Sorry, great.
My point is, you said to me, we never set out to do cliffhangers, and honest to God,
Hey, I was lying to you. I was just pulling a fast one on you. I wasn't lying. I was tricking you. No, we did for the first 3 years do a cliffhanger every year. The first year,
this was the cliffiest of all of the hangers. Hey?
yeah. Well, the way I guess I mean it's not a cliffhanger is that you just kind of. You genuinely go to a place that the story naturally goes to, and you sort of arrive at, I should say. And how it turns out is to be determined to the audience, and you don't
Right.
want to sort of give those kinds of things away.
Twitter was ablaze. Would you say? Was that a fair assessment? Like,
Blaze is a good way to put it. Yeah.
I was like, first of all, I mean, just Tinny's father alone was a shocker, right? That wasn't a cliffhanger. That was like a
That
like
was,
it was
that
a
was
gasp
yeah,
heard around the country.
a
right?
reboot, a leap forward,
I love it
and you'll see a bit of him this year, that's for sure.
because he's a great actor. Paul Gross, we're talking about now.
We spent a lot of time with him, which is kind of a coup to get him as a regular on the series this year, which
Well,
is
let's
neat.
talk about people that you get on the show. Everybody wants to be on the show now. I know last season it was crazy, and this season even more. So, like, drop some of the names that we're going to see over the course of season 4.
Well, all your old favorites like Pinsent and
Right.
Paul Gross, of course, which they have a pretty pivotal roles. And there's a fantastic Newfoundland actor, poet, author, Joel Thomas Hines.
Oh, yes, yes.
He has a good standing role. Bob Joy comes back. Angus McFadden, who played Robert the Bruce in Braveheart, big actor from Scotland originally. Fantastic. He's here. Irish actor named Martin McCann, and the one, the only Louis Guzman.
Oh, I know. We saw you hanging out, having dinner. Bad guy. You can't say. Could you say?
I'm not telling. I can't actually. It's pivotal that I don't tell you.
Okay. But he was in it. And now, being Erica Starr, who I love.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I mean...
Amazing. It's we've got like a large variety of the best actors in the world
Yeah.
who've guest starred on our show.
Okay, now the other thing you told me, which I thought was really neat, is that all of you creative types, you go away, like a retreat, if you will, a Republic of Doyle retreat,
Yeah.
and you say, okay, you map out how it's going to work. Now, how did that work this season? Where'd you go? What'd you do? Give us some background.
We went to Dublin actually.
Did you?
We did two. We did one first in London, England, where we sort of mapped out a rough plan for season 4. New York City and London.
These are all boondoggles, by the way. How much work really gets done?
Lots.
Is that true?
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
I'm
It's
sorry.
Well, we live in.
I don't
States.
mean to be disrespectful, but
No,
I
you
do follow you on Twitter, and you do make the rounds. He goes to a lot of shows.
I do, yeah. I
Right?
do as much as you can, sort of as much fun as you can have while you're doing it. But for me, the work is the fun too. Like I
Right.
live in St. John's. Like we don't have a hard time having a good time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when we go away, it's not a bad thing to do a bit of work. So we always devote. We have a Gary Busey rule. We don't start partying until we're finished work. And then that's usually about 5:30. And then we went to Galway with McGinley on another little retreat, and we went and saw 3 hours of Tom Murphy, 3 plays, sorry, of Tom Murphy. It was 9 hours. that show, that series, it's called Cycle, the Murphy Cycle, subsequently toured to England and went on to New York and went to Broadway.
Wow.
But we saw it in Galway in its original sort of production, and the connection between me and McGinley through Tom Murphy's brilliant Irish playwright, who I've never met, but Murphy and McGinley are very close. My career kind of started with the Company Theatre, my theatre company.
Yes, which is doing extraordinarily well.
Doing really well. The first play we ever did, and sort of the role that kind of changed my whole life is this role called Harry in A Whistle in the Dark. And McGinley also played Harry.
You're kindred spirits. Now, I was just talking to Sean McGinley how casting on a show like this is, especially when it's a family, it's critical. And there's something about you two. And he said you worked on a project, but you weren't ever together. But there's the kindredness that you can't.
We knew right away, I think, that we would get on and that we had that connection, that bond, and it's been there. And I love watching him. He's so interesting. He's like the most interesting and original actor I've ever seen. And I've spent so much time with his footage, in post-production. This what, if you can hear
What is that now?
That's an
Oh,
airplane.
right.
Our
We're
studio,
at an undisclosed location.
studio by the airport.
One of the things, I had the great pleasure of chatting with Sean Panting for the first time up in Elliston. He was there to entertain. We were talking about the character of Walter, and you talk to anybody really, everyone's so proud to be a part of this show. But the one thing they tell you is, you can't say anything. You can't. Like Sean actually told me that you have a bag of doorknobs that you use, some sort of threat. But seriously, how is that ethic that no one will speak? What have you got? Like, is there some sort of threat?
No, they all know. They all get it. We just sort of very clearly say to them, don't give stuff away.
Right.
And they also realize too, because they you go across the country and people. I've spent a lot of my career doing things that people don't know about.
Is that true?
Or care about, and they don't. You can.
Oh, you mean they're unknown?
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
material out there that people are sort of trying to get their hands on. But we genuinely get press calls from people trying to get, like we're some sort of political organization where they're trying to get the details
Some
of the
sort of-
scandal that's going on in the plot, and that's very powerful stuff.
Right.
And it's not something to be taken for granted.
No.
And I'm so appreciative that an audience cares about what we're doing that I don't want to spoil it. So
Right.
they all get it too. Like, we have a rule that we're not allowed to discuss plot points in cabs. We're not allowed to talk about these kinds of details are out there and they can be tweeted so quickly and
I
sort of
know.
like.
It's crazy. So
Yeah.
then I'll just ask you this question: are you and Leslie going to get together? Tell me.
Nope.
Oh, what?
Yes.
You won't tell me, or you?
No. Yes. No. Yes. No. 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 Yes.
I
No.
just
No.
thought
Yes. No. No.
I'd
no,
slip
yes.
that one under the radar.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for
They
you.
do make out. I promise that they'll make out at least once in season 4.
Is that true?
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't
Why
I write
wouldn't
that?
ya?
Why
Right.
wouldn't I write that?
You've
Pellerin,
got the
I've got
power.
Pellerin cornered. She has no choice.
She's spectacular.
She's the
Hey?
greatest. She's the greatest.
I love all of your cast. You're wonderful. Here you are, Allan Hawco. You've got one line to sell season 4. Just give me the, if you had a movie marquee, what's the sell line?
It wouldn't be a very good movie marquee, but I can honestly tell you this.
Okay.
Season 4 is the best season of television that we've ever made. And the show has grown so much. There's so much there for new viewers in terms of like the punch, the tightness of all of our sort of mystery and A-plots, character development, getting to know the characters. And then for the loyal viewers, there's so many breadcrumbs that have been left for you to sort of string you along throughout the whole season that will keep you entertained and satisfied. The other cool thing about season 4 is that because we've gotten to know these characters outside of Jake and Jake's world, there are all these other characters out there that we get to fully explore in so much more detail. And you've got these fantastic actors with an opportunity to sort of take different shots at the net. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed. I can say that with an open.
It would not fit on a poster or a T-shirt, but man,
the worst
I can't wait to see it.
The worst marquee ever.
Thank you, Allan Hawco.
Thanks so much.